All right, what is going on, Banter fan? Welcome into the Thursday edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as always, we will be diving into the crypto gaming markets. And I want to cover two projects that are around the corner with active gameplay. Once again, that have had some big developments. We saw Mobland with some big 420 developments, as well as a brand new exchange listing that sent the token up about 40+% in the last couple of days. As well, we'll take a look at Big Time as their new gameplay early access for gold pass holders is out, and we see lots of gameplay on YouTube. I want to go over why the crossover here, the kind of a blend of a gameplay between Diablo and World of Warcraft, will actually potentially bring in a lot of adoption and a lot of new users to the space from the quality gameplay. Because I can tell you firsthand, my gamer friends from the esports scene, the one game that they do have their eyes on is Big Time. So without further ado, let's get in the game.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you don't play, but ain't a percent. If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you don't play, but ain't a play. If you get lost, show you the way.
All right, and let's dive right into it. And let's start off with Mobland. As mentioned, they had a big few days really centered around the date 420 with some very holiday-centric announcements. And to start off, on 420, trading went live for Mobland on KuCoin. And, they had really been waiting for that big exchange listing. They had gotten a lot of the mid-tier exchange listings already. And then KuCoin comes in with the Mobland listing on 420. And we see Mobland token really react from that, obviously. We were in the low 5-cent range, and now we're actually in the mid 7-cent range. So a very nice bounce this week for Mobland. As mentioned, you could be staking your SYNR tokens if you are a SYNR holder as well on the Mobland staking interface. I believe it's still a few 100% based on how much you lock up your tokens. So if you're bullish on this game long term, it's definitely a way to put your SYNR tokens to work. And it was a great bounce to see from such a quality project. On top of just an exchange listing, short-term momentum, for example, we actually see major announcements coming out of the Mobland camp with a 420 announcement bringing in Snoop Dogg, joining the Mobland to farm digital weed. So this is very interesting development. We're going to see the vegetation, as Roy said on a previous interview here on the show, when we were talking all things Mobland, the economy and the relatability here to a game like GTA, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Why I think that this could capture that exact audience here in crypto, because it's such a cultural feel. There's so much freedom in what you do in terms of what you actually can produce, and the freedom of businesses, choices of, your car, your dressing, your assets, your weapons, etc. There's a lot that's going to go within the syndicate economy of Mobland. And as we see here, a little bit of a Mobland breaking news report as they bring in Snoop Dogg, who is already in with Gala Music, is already in with Sandbox. So I once again love that Snoop Dogg continues to push forward with the Web3 space. And as we see here with the news report, that they are bringing in Snoop Dogg, which I absolutely love because he's such a cultural icon. Once again, with the culture, that is a big deal when it comes to these Grand Theft Auto style games. How much can you appeal to the real world aspects and the relatability and what's flashy or what's current in the times? And Grand Theft Auto has done a great way of updating their game over time. And the way that Mobland is structured and the way that they mention things on an AMA that we had here, they will be building more pillars into the game over time, just like Grand Theft Auto Online. So new heists, new business opportunities, new partnerships, etc. So there's a lot to come down the line for Mobland. And then on top of that, we see here that they just got backing on the heels of the KuCoin listing from KuCoin Ventures themselves. They're already backed by projects like Merit Circle, Animoca Brands, and so many more top tier names back Mobland already. So KuCoin Ventures joining the namesake of the backers definitely just kind of puts a cherry on top at this point. So I'm very, very bullish on Mobland. And once again, this is just a game that goes beyond what we've seen right now. I'd be so much more interested and will be so much more interested to hop in this game on stream, start to play and earn, and actually, maybe hop on Twitch. You could build a Twitch community and actually have fun in these games, for example, and have fun in a chat box. That's the problem with right now. You can't hop on Twitch in an Axie Infinity chat most of the time, and it's not really, the community sentiment isn't that great at this current point. You could actually have fun in these types of games, especially with, PvP aspects built in. That will be a very, very interesting thing to see if we actually see, big streamers potentially try out some of these games. We saw Dr. Disrespect pivot towards building an NFT game as well. So, Twitch and viewership on Twitch really does command a lot of what is popular as well. So we need games that could culturally appeal. And Mobland definitely has that vibe. I think it is, once again, I've said it before, Grand Theft Auto mixed with Saints Row, or Saints Row 2. And I think it's a very good blend. And as I said, the freedom of different businesses is huge. And why I liken it to the effect that we could have here with adoption, right? So Grand Theft Auto has 54 million followers on Twitch at this very moment. This game at this point has been out. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for a long time at this point. And the new game isn't coming out for multiple years. And right now we're seeing Grand Theft Auto 5 with 250,000 viewers at this very moment. So the game hasn't fell off one bit in that time period. And we see 54 million followers for Grand Theft Auto. And right now, the biggest project that I think could fill that void is definitely Mobland. So I'm so excited for the upcoming developments in this game and the more gameplay pillars that they release for NFT holders. And then when they release this game publicly, I'm super, super excited. And another game that I think could bring such adoption to the space. And now that the full-blown gameplay's out there and we see people streaming it successfully, big time, there are YouTube streams and Twitch streams of people, having fun with their communities, playing big time. And this is such a big deal because we actually have to have communities and players having fun first and foremost before it comes to earning. And we'll talk about the marketplace here in just a second for what players are earning just for playing the game, right? Or at least the marketplace prices. This does not mean that this is going to stick at the very moment, right? So the early access launch has gone live for gold access passes. So gold access passes will get you insane drop rates. So they're getting very, very high drop rates for all of their assets, as you see exclusive assets. Then the silver will come out 4 weeks later, followed by the jade, followed by the ruby pass. And as you see here, you can get the gold pass for about 1.5 Ethereum, the silver pass for about 0.29 Ethereum, and then the jade access pass, which was the third one there, for about 0.07 Ethereum. This will put you in the early access portal that I just showed you. So you'll have the ability to have the insane mega and great drop rates to be able to get kind of a higher rate of asset drops during your time in the early access portal. And as you go and see the gameplay here, this is hands down one of the best gameplay footage and game. This is live gameplay right now for early access holders. People can go and play this right now. And it looks like a great blend of Diablo and World of Warcraft, in my opinion. The gameplay pillars, the way that the user interface is structured, it has the action sequences and the action effects of a Diablo. But, at the same time, it has that open world more effect. That's the same POV, the same kind of user interface that a World of Warcraft does. And I think that this type of game right here, and I know firsthand because, like I've mentioned, I've spent 6+ years in the esports scene. In Call of Duty, in first-person shooters, but I keep in touch with a lot of different gamers across a lot of different genres, and a lot of esports guys and a lot of players that I've played with in Call of Duty have reached out and said, I've never really looked into crypto games or thought crypto games were that great based on watching your shows. But then whenever I saw this game, it was a different level. The RuneScape guys, the World of Warcraft guys, anyone who played Skyrim, all these different open world MMO RPGs kind of mixed with the action style of a Diablo. This could capture the audience of such a big audience. And it only makes sense because, as mentioned, the team with Ari Melik, co-founder of Decentraland. We have guys who have worked on Diablo, who have worked on World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Gears of War, Halo, Medal of Honor. These guys have such a tenured background that I don't see a way that this game isn't going to be one of the biggest games in this space, and especially for 2022. And I think that this could potentially open the door to a massive audience, because what they have done is they have planted seeds in the traditional gaming community. There are big influencers and big names in the Web 2 gaming space who have already promoted and gotten behind, Big Time being one of those first games. It's like, wow, okay, Axie Infinity is one thing, or these, idle turn-based games, that's one thing. But then you see something like this quality, and it's an NFT game. This is going to capture the masses, especially once they see that you don't have to buy anything to play this game. This game is free to play. So those access passes, this is just for early access. And you can actually go and earn these assets right now, which are currently priced at pretty lucrative prices. We have the Battle Axe of Sir Bors at $95,000. These are just listings, guys. These are just listings. So there's a variety of prices, and these are just, drops. As mentioned, they paid to get in the early access, and they're getting crazy rare drops at a very high rate because they paid for the gold access pass. That's it. It's not these assets. They have rarity based on their aesthetics, according to the Big Time team. So right now they just have a jump on getting these assets, followed by the silver, jade, and ruby passes. And then if you want, you don't have to pay a dime. Yeah, Banter Girl, it is free to play, but it's not free to play right now. You have to hold a gold access pass to access it today. So this will be in about 10 to 12 weeks that the game would go fully live after all these passes roll out. So you would be able to get in on the Ruby Pass, which I believe will get you that access at the very end of the early access period, which will allow you to play the game for free. And the eventual game drop will be free to play. It will be free to play. And you can buy land, which is termed as space in the economy. But as you see here, the assets are pretty lucratively priced. I wish there was an activity tab that I could see if there's actually transactions at these prices. But, the players now are definitely getting very high rate drops. And I want to just talk about, when you're looking at the comparison games, once again on Twitch, 2 million followers, 1.8 million followers for Diablo 3, which is just the latest Diablo game. We had Diablo and Diablo 2 as well. But, with the action effects, as mentioned, it just kind of reminds me of the same kind of visual style. And then World of Warcraft has the more same point of view, same user interface. But the action style here definitely reminds me of Diablo. And then we take a look at World of Warcraft with 9.5 million followers, right? And then you take a look at the user interface and the way that the camera is positioned more so, and it's more open world feeling than Diablo, for example. So I think that Big Time has that perfect mix between both of those user interfaces, the open world and the gameplay mechanics, the action animations. I think Big Time really does have the potential to capture that gaming audience. And as mentioned, I network with so many different developers, games, influencers, esports guys, current players who, spend 8 hours a day grinding professional Valorant, professional Call of Duty, professional PUBG. So I've talked to a lot of these guys. This is the one game that it is common across the board when they look into crypto gaming, that this is the one that they're like, I want to play this because I've played RuneScape. I've played World of Warcraft. Everyone has had that experience in an open world game. And I think Big Time could captivate that audience. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But be sure to like the video if you are bullish on Big Time, Mobland, the Snoop Dogg developments within Mobland, and the future of crypto gaming. And be sure to subscribe for more daily crypto gaming content here Monday through Friday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on In the Game. I'll be back tomorrow for the Friday show. As always, play well, my friends.
Mm-hmm.